Hello. Uh, I think I should be like, I don't know, book talk number 3, I think. It's May 3rd now, pretty sure. Tomorrow's going to be May the 4th, so that's cool. Yeah, awesome. I just want to talk about more books that I read in the last few months now. Well, last 2 months, I would say. I read these few books, and I read a few more, but I like these few ones. And we're going to delve into them. We are definitely going to delve into them because I really do like the books that I've been reading so far. Yeah. I guess before I get into the book talk, I just want to acknowledge that I just want to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land, past, present, and future. Um, anyways, yeah, growing my hair out, which is cool, pretty cool. I like it. Kind of want to shave it all off again, low key. But then I like having hair, so it's such an enigma. Um, I think that last video that I made was a bit of a weird video, but like I also just wanted to make it anyway, and I just wanted to post something. I feel like this year I've actually posted quite a bit, so I'm pretty happy with that. I'm happy I posted last year. I'm happy I posted this year. It's cool. I like it. Okay, so um, I read the Iliad in February this year by Emily Wilson, the translation by Emily Wilson. Emily Wilson is a scholar in America. I think she's a scholar in America, and she studies Greek and Greek literature and like these epics and whatnot. And she translated. It took her 10 years, which she said mentioned in her books, but she translated the Iliad, the Odyssey, and I haven't got this one yet, but the Aeneid. The reason why I haven't gotten the Aeneid is I think I could only find it in hardcover, not in these, paper, not in these covers, which is a lot more flexible and looks a lot cooler. And like I would have been cool with the hardcover, but the Aeneid is like taller than these, so I'm like, I don't know. I'd rather the Aeneid having been, the same height as both of these, and then the same cover, and not, just like not different. But I'm sure they'll release that sooner or later, and if they don't, then I'll just go buy it. Like because I've never read the Aeneid, but I've read the Odyssey and the Iliad both before in the last few years, and and I gotta say, reading Emily Wilson's translation for both the Iliad and the Odyssey have been really neat. The Iliad, I wrote a little summary for it. I'm in this book club at the uni, I suppose, and I wrote a little summary for it. Um, Emily Wilson, the Iliad by Homer. I guess so. There's a big difference between the Odyssey and the Iliad. The Iliad is really just like you have these people, they go to war, and it's the final few days of the Trojan War, and then what happens then? And we hear of the myth of, I suppose, Achilles. We hear of both Ajaxes, Menelaus, Agamemnon, and we read about Hector, Priam, the Trojans and the Greeks. It's very interesting, and I really really enjoyed it. I really enjoy this book. I really enjoy this book. It's a lot of people dying, killing each other. It just so happens that these people are related to that person. Now that person has had 10 kids, 9 of them are dead. They only have one left. The Greeks sacked their city, sold their son for ransom. Now they're back at war, fighting for the Trojans. And then once again, they get recognized by the Greeks, and this time they're not ransomed off; they're more so killed. It's just back and forth. It's just your dad getting killed and then your son getting killed, and then like your cousin getting killed. It's just everyone getting killed, but then it's like so many people getting killed. But then like obviously this is like the Greeks and the Trojans, like two massive armies. So why wouldn't there be so many people getting killed? And then this translation builds so much suspense because like there is a point in the book where the Greeks are getting being pushed back, but then the thing is, from the get go, we know that Troy is supposed to fall, so it makes it look like the Greeks are really really badly winning, and I'm sorry, the Trojans are really really badly winning and not the Greeks, but then we know that it's prophecy that the Trojan fortress is supposed to fall, and the Greeks are supposed to win. So, so we know the ending from the get go of this book, and how it's portrayed and conveyed is just amazing. So I really love this book. Really like it. I really like it. Anyways, the Odyssey by Homer. Uh, this one is a lot different than the Iliad. I gotta admit, the Odyssey I would say is more. Well, for starters, the Iliad garnered all these heroes. The story does centralize around Achilles, because of him, the Greeks suffer, because he's the strongest fighter. But in the Iliad, but then you have all those other heroes in the Iliad that they keep on mentioning. So it's a big cast. In the Odyssey, it's really Odysseus, um, that we read about, but then also his wife Penelope, and then his son Telemachus. Um, so it's centered around that person. What I love about Emily Wilson's translation is at the start of the book, she writes an introduction, and in the introduction, it's like 100 pages long. It's amazing, but like what she gives, she explains what a Greek epic is. So, for example, the reason why the Iliad and the Odyssey is considered an epic is because it's an epic poem, and it's because it's a poem that is so long, it's considered an epic. That's why it's considered an epic. So it is a poem, the Iliad and the Odyssey. So if you look at the pages, it's written in poetic stanzas, which is really freaking cool. And another translation that I read of the Odyssey, a year or 2 years prior, was also written in a poetic stanza, because originally it is a poem, and it's considered an epic because it's a very very long poem. And she mentioned in her introduction that the way she translated was it's supposed to come off as a poem, and when you read, especially in the Iliad, she mentioned that when you read the names of these heroes dying and being surviving and just fighting, it kind of sounds like you're singing, almost like there's just this rhythm to it, and I thought that was sick. Unfortunately, I don't know Greek language, so the names sound very foreign, but then if I understood the meaning behind the names, I'm sure that would have been a whole nother thing. Anywho, she also does mention that the Iliad, in the introduction, she mentioned that it does have historical significance. Like, yes, it might be a made up story because it was told orally, first of all, and passed down through generations, and at the end, someone wrote it all down. And so this is the final story, pretty much. But she does mention that there's a lot of historical truth to it, and all these Greek neighboring countries pairing with each other, and then there's being some bit of war, and then people pillaging each other. Like, all of that was apparently a very common thing, and there is a lot of historical significance to it. Now, the Odyssey, Odysseus. This guy, uh, you read about the one-eyed Titan eating men, and these men are trapped in the one-eyed Cyclops' cave, and they're getting eaten day by day. Odysseus has to come up with a scheme and then escape. That's one part of the story. Um, they travel to the underworld, Hades, to the underworld, and they literally talk to heroes from the Iliad, and then they literally talk about to the heroes from the Iliad, and then they go, "What happened? When'd you die? Why'd you die?" And then the Iliad, like the Greeks win against the Trojans, but on their way back, it is told in the Odyssey that a lot of them died on their way back, which is crazy. Odysseus is the only survivor of his fleet. He went out with apparently 9 full ships of like few hundred men, so that's a few thousand people, I think, under him. And then at the end of his journey, it's only him that's alive, which is crazy, right? And in the book, he's constantly being told that he's the most misfortunate person ever. But then he's like the only person that survives and actually gets back to his wife. So like, I don't know, man. He had a few thousand people under him, and he got a lot. He got out alive. Like, You sure he's the unluckiest dude alive? Because they mentioned that he's the unluckiest dude alive a few times. But in the introduction by Emily Wilson, she mentions that it's a very hypocritical book, and it's also, like, it's just very hypocritical, and there's a lot of different elements to it. But it's a cornerstone of our literature and of our society, and it's a beautifully written story as well, and you shouldn't really take it literally. Um, and like from both of these books, you'll learn about Greek mythology, like Zeus, Poseidon. Sorry, not Poseidon. Um, shoot, I'm not sure if Poseidon is part of it. I'm not sure. I don't know. But you read about Athena. You read about um, Hermes, the messenger god. You read about there's so many of them. Forgot their names because I'm getting a bit of a brain fog right now. But you have the god who crafts for the other gods, and he has like really disfigured legs. You have, the god of war, and you have the goddess of war, of war spoils, and you have the goddess of beauty, and just stuff like that. And they're all in these books, and you learn a lot about it. It's so cool. It's so cool. But anyways, the Odyssey by Homer, I would say, is an awesome book. This guy literally, has to deal with one-eyed cyclopses, six-headed spiders, um, deal with goddesses that turn his men into pigs, and then he travels to the underworld to gain advice and talk to his old comrades. And then in the book also, they actually visit, Neleus and Menelaus as well, because they survived after the Iliad, and then they're back in their castles and their fortresses, and they have spoils of war, and they're living lavish now. And the Helen's back in Greece, and it's awesome and it's cool, and so much happens, and we learn about Odysseus' son Telemachus, and then his wife Penelope, and the hardship that they have to go through. And it's an awesome book with a very satisfying ending, very, very satisfying ending. It's an awesome book. I love the Odyssey. I love the Iliad. I love Emily Wilson's translations of them. She's awesome. They all came out last year as well. So live long enough, you see these things happen. It's awesome. Okay. I don't know how long this video is supposed to be, but I'm just going to go on a rant. So, When the Body Says No by Gabor Mate, this book it was interesting. It's a very interesting book. So this guy is a psychologist. He's a doctor. He looks after patients, but his hobby is to write. I really want to write, so I get it. But anyways, When the Body Says No. So in this book, he talks about his patients who, after years of suppressing their anger and just all this hatred and stuff, they suppress it, and then it evolves into these illnesses. So they become paralyzed, they develop cancer, and all these different things. And in the book, he mentions that, yes, cigarettes and alcohol can cause cancer, but having so much stress will amplify that. And he also mentioned that a lot of people have cancer cells, but some of those cancer cells in most people will never form until their death, but in some others it will. And the reason why is because stress. And the underlying point in this book is that nice people suppress their anger a lot. People that try to please others. And it's important to always look out for your own well-being. And if you feel uncomfortable, then say no. And feeling guilty is better than feeling hatred and bitterness after. So choose being guilty opposed to feeling bitter and letting thoughts develop and develop and develop. And what he's pretty much saying is just don't be a pushover and don't be too overly nice. And those are all, that's part of my own philosophy as well. I don't think you should be overly nice. I think it's important to have a good backbone, and I think it's important that when you find like you're in a situation where there's a bit of conflict, or you're uncomfortable, or there's something that just doesn't sit right with you, you need to like switch it on and go right. I don't, just got to be on it, and you got to know when to say no. Set boundaries, super important, and that's what this book is really trying to tell you. But it's hard. It's hard to do those things, and these people had to deal with it for years and decades, and then at the end they developed cancer. They had, you know what I'm saying? It's you got to communicate and understand your emotions, and set boundaries, but also be a good person. You can do all those things, but also be a good person and a nice person. There's a middle ground for everything. Don't be an extreme of one side and extreme of another. Because I work in healthcare, and like I see the bad side of it, and there, it's not nice. And I see the other extreme side of it, and it's also not nice. Just be in the middle. It's important to be in the middle. When the body says no gabber I didn't appreciate how much he was emphasizing not being nice. Like that's like the takeaway that I was getting throughout the book. And I think it's important to be nice, but also be firm in your own conviction and be able to set boundaries and say no when you feel like you need to. There's a really healthy middle ground. Choose that. So yeah, but I did like the book. When the body says no, I've actually referenced it a lot at work and in general with people. Like I don't know why, but I've referenced this book a lot since I read it. Like because so many people seem to have this problem of saying no and then they get hurt. But it's just an unfortunate part of life. And what do you do? But just don't harm others and don't let others harm you, and just be a good person and be strong. Be a strong person. I would say. Anyways, Isaac Asimov Foundation. Apparently, it's a 6-book series or more or less. I'm not sure. Sick book. This one. This is the first in the thing chronology. And sorry, I don't want this to be a long video, so I'm kind of going on a tangent now. But I'll just keep going on a tangent. And I don't care if it's half an hour long. Anyways, Isaac Asimov Foundation. So this book is crazy because it spans like 500 years, pretty much, or a few hundred years. So this guy predicts that the whole civilization is going to collapse. He sets up this whole other foundation for people to save the collapse or save as much knowledge from it as possible, so people don't become barbaric again. 50 years down the line, his plan's working. This happens, that happens. Another 30 years passes by. This happens, that happens. He comes out in a room 100 years down the line. There's a little memograph, a little photon, little digital video of him portrayed, and he goes, I would have died by now, and you guys are seeing this video only now. And that's like 100 years later down the line in a little vault. The concept is sick because it spans over centuries, and it shows the aftermath of his prediction and this and that, and it's completely fiction, and it's completely sci-fi, and it's got a bit of everything: magic, kingdoms, sci-fi, futuristic stuff, religion, like all these different things. It just, I don't know, never read a book like this, and it's sick. It's really cool. I like it. I read the second to the franchise. I haven't finished reading it. I'm still reading it right now, but I'll see if I like that one. And if I keep liking it, then I'll keep buying and I'll finish the series. I've never really finished the series before, but this could be the first one. I'll see. I like the foundation though, and I love the cover. Okay, Vladimir Nabokov. He wrote the Lolita. I don't know, like I made a little short video last year when I was reading Lolita. Yeah, I was only 100 pages in, and I thought it was an amazingly well-written book. I was like, wow, this is a well-written book. But it was a very, very difficult book to get through, and it took me like a month at least, I think, to get through it. I was just, I don't know. I think from page 100 to page 200, it kind of made me a little sick because it's literally like I don't know. Well, I shouldn't be weird about it. It's literally pedophilia, and I don't know. Not a good book. I didn't like it. I didn't like that book. No, I liked how well it was written, but then like I feel like it should be illegal. But I liked how well it was written, and it should be illegal. Contradictions. Life's an enigma. That whole book's an enigma. I don't know how I feel about the video, but I did like my point of it, that just because other people, like, I don't know, just you shouldn't dislike something just because other people, like, go experience it first and then see if you like it, right? Don't jump on a bandwagon. It's not cool. Well, he wrote The Laws in Defense, apparently one of his first books. It's about this guy who becomes a chess grandmaster because he was a big loner when he was a kid, and I'm pretty sure he's autistic. Like they never mentioned it in the book, but the main character is autistic. He falls in love with chess, does that for the rest of his life, becomes a grandmaster, and the story revolves around him meeting this woman, and they become fiancés, and then what happens after that. And the ending is interesting. I thought the ending was very interesting. You gotta read it. I actually kind of liked the book. It was only 200 pages only, and like it's also well written. Clearly this guy's a great writer. I loved how everything was portrayed. It was definitely in a Russian setting. I like Russian setting books. Dostoevsky, it's all Russian. It's cool. And this book referenced Dostoevsky and other books. Like I love it when books reference books. It's cool. This is a good book. I liked it. I don't know what else to tell you. I liked it. Nothing weird about it. It was just about this guy who was obsessed with chess and 100% is autistic and can't get out of his head. And his fiance and stuff. I was really hoping like the fiance and him didn't break up or nothing bad happens to them. But anyways, you gotta read it, find out the ending, and then form your own opinions. Okay, not sure. All right, cool. Last book for the book talk. It's okay not to get along with everyone. I was at this bookshop in Sydney. I just went and explored some bookshops in Sydney. I was like, I live near Sydney. Why would I not? Now that I think about it, it's like if there's any good bookshops ever, it's like Sydney or around the area. Makes sense, right? Anyways, I found this book. I just opened it, started reading it, and like I find that like really good books when you just go in, you open that first book that catches your eye, and you read it, and you go, I think this is the book that I'm gonna get, and you scour a bit around the bookshop, but then you don't find anything good, and you find that first book, and you think about it, and you just go, cool, this is the one I'll buy. It's whatever. This is one was that, but the thing is, at the time I was at this relationship, purely platonic, but I was like, I don't know. Clearly, it's very one-sided, very, very one-sided relationship. And I wasn't sure how to proceed, because part of me was like, all right, but then I don't know. It was just clearly I wasn't respecting myself, because if I did, then I would have dropped that ages ago. But anyways, it's okay not to get along with everyone, and it delves into stuff like that, and it gives you an idea of it, and it gives you an idea of what a healthy relationship looks like, and it tells you that it's okay to just let people go and just be on your own. It's cool. It's whatever. It's fine. People come and go, and it's okay. And it's very simple, and there's a lot of different points and stuff in it, because it's all just different points kind of book and like cool illustrations in it. And I like this book. I liked it a lot. It's okay not to get along with everyone. It's got that really good new book smell. I love that. And it's also hardcover. And I like this book a lot. I liked all 6 of these books a lot. Holy crap, I've been reading really good books. It's amazing. I think somewhere someone said, oh no, I actually literally read a book on it. You have 4,000 weeks in life to live or something. And what is it? That's, and like, let's say you read a book and like, okay, so you have 4,000 weeks to live. Cool. Let's say you read a book every week of your life. That's 4,000 books in your whole lifetime. 80 years, right? 80 years, you read a book every week. How rare is that? And who's actually going to do that? So it's a less than 4,000. If you're going to read guaranteed less than 4,000 books in your entire lifetime, you got to know what to read. You got to read the good books. But if you want to read stuff that you like reading, that's totally cool. Reading's reading. Reading's reading. I have my own taste. I know what I like now. I'm open to most books. I'm open to I've never discriminated against a book unless it's got hate in it and it's not great, then cool. But I'm open to it. Book's a book. Book's a book. Doesn't matter. What is it? So choose what you read carefully. Also, you're absorbing all this information. The thing with books that I love the most about is movies. Like, I love movies as well. It's cool, and I learned so much from it. But books, it's the one way of avenue of entertainment or anything that actually educates you. The easiest way in life to get educated is to read a book. The easiest way to get educated in life is to read a book. Books are the foundation for our society, the way we think, everything. I remember reading Nietzsche, and I totally forgot everything in that. But like I remember when I was reading it, and this thought that kept coming to mind, I was like, "Holy crap! What's written in Nietzsche's books, Good and Evil, or I don't know, To Be Human or something, Only Human or something, was like the way our society kind of thinks today, like what progressive thinking looks like." But then I guess when he wrote the book, like over 100 years ago, it must have been really like just turn the screw for everyone. Everyone probably went, what the hell kind of thinking is this? But then to us it's normal. But that's only because we've had generations of generations to develop that idea or to seep that idea into our mentalities. So like to us it just sounds like our just like whatever philosophy that we already know. But when it first came out, I'm sure nobody knew about it. So it was a big groundbreak. It was a big groundbreaker. I don't know, can't find a word for it. But anyways, I love good books. books are the foundation of our society. And yeah, cool. Book talk number 3. Hopefully it's not too long. If it is, it doesn't matter. Good books, good books. Love reading good books. I love reading good books. Yeah, I don't know what else to say now.